Particularly good statistically. Only 3 touchdown drives on 43 offensive possessions. Only 4 touchdown passes, if I'm not mistaken. It has not looked great for Deshaun Watson. Joy, starting with you, how should the Browns feel about Deshaun?
Disappointed, frustrated, embarrassed, but much like the Denver Broncos, this is what you signed up for, so you better figure it out. I mean, overall, I feel like the situation in Cleveland should be getting a lot more criticism than it is, but it's being met with, for some particular reason, a lot of reason. I didn't expect Deshaun Watson to come in and be good. I didn't think he was going to be this bad, but I thought he was going to be rusty.
Yeah.
He hadn't played football in 2 years. I don't know that there's anyone on earth that could stop playing football, particularly at that position, and come in and be great and be elite, play at an elite level, walk into a new situation with a new team and be what they are paying him to be, which is why he should be getting criticized more than anybody else. When you get fully guaranteed $236 million, you should be getting $236 million fully guaranteed criticism. We bring up Dak's contract all the time. If we're going to criticize Dak at the level that we do because of the money that he's paid, what do we got to say about Deshaun Watson? When he got there, they were still alive in the playoff race. They are now eliminated. Since week 13, they're averaging 15 points per game and 295 yards. Prior to him being there, they averaged 23.9 points per game, 376.9 yards per game. So their offense has gone down. The running game has gone down. He has not made them better, and he's being compensated at a higher level than anyone else in the league. Now, I realize this particular year, they structured the contract so he's not losing money because of the suspension, but we all know what he's being paid. Right. So it's really disappointing. I think people are being reasonable about it, but we're not reasonable, so I don't know why he's being granted that.
2-5, where you stand? How should the Browns feel about Deshaun?
Should be good. They should be happy. Happy they finally got a franchise quarterback, right? It's been, 4 games? It's been 4 games. We judging a player for 4 games. He missed 2 years since he played football in 2 years. Now, listen, in football, every year, this is the only league, and I can say this because I didn't play basketball, I didn't play baseball. This is the only league that I know of that guys get faster every year, they get stronger every year, the league gets better and better and better. So I say that to say this. Let's not forget who this dude is, though, right? He led the NFL in passing yards in 2020, Deshaun Watson, same one. His 3 years that he played, that he was playing, Pro Bowl years, right? And then if we look at the 3rd best passing rating in NFL history, behind Patrick Mahomes and Packers Rodgers.
Yep.
Let's not forget who this dude is. Now, I can't, shade Deshaun Watson. He's that dude. He's rusty. If anybody on TV, America, if you have a job, right, hopefully you do, if you have a job and you miss work for 2 years, and then you come back, you're supposed to be the same person right away? It doesn't happen. If I get off TV for 2 years, I come back, I'm not gonna be as sharp. I think you're super good on TV. You're better this than football. But anyway, listen, if Acho leaves the game for 2 years, and you one of the best on TV, you're not gonna be the same right away. So his money and all that, they paid him because they know what type of player he is, right? He loses DeAndre Hopkins, right? Oh, what type of year is he gonna have? Boom, he balls out. Give this guy some time. It's the reason why the Browns, they're a bad organization. They make bad decisions. They finally made the right decision. He's better than all the previous quarterbacks you ever even had, ever, in that franchise, right? That's what it is. So give him some time. Let him play. Let him get the rust out. And then we'll see Deshaun Watson who he is.
You keep saying who he is, but is it fair if you're a Browns fan to say who he was? Because how do you know, Shady, 24 months later, that this Deshaun is still that 3-time Pro Bowler, playoff winning, leads the NFL in passing yards? How do you know this Deshaun is still that Deshaun? You know every year players change. Russell Wilson 1 year is great, the next year he's not. How do you know he's still the same dude?
First of all, he's still young, right? Mm-hmm. He's still young. He's
27, I think.
He's 27 years old, right? So it takes time. This is, football is like a real thing. It's not like it tag or like flag football. This is real. The timing on the routes. He couldn't practice with the team. He couldn't practice with the players, right? They wouldn't let him do none of that. Then with the Texans, he didn't want to be part of it, whatever happened, right? Had all the legal stuff off the field. Now he's playing where he had to get his timing right, his feet work, his passes. Like, all them things take time. So it's like, let's be patient here. Le'Veon Bell, right? Mm-hmm. He was older at the time, but he left the game for a year and a half, something like that. He went to the Jets. Frank Gore, one of my best friends. So I'm like, hey, Frank, how's Le'Veon doing? Dog, hey, dog. Hey, dog, I don't know. He wasn't the same player, right? And I guess the team got frustrated because they weren't seeing the results now. So it takes time.
But Le'Veon never became who Le'Veon was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Don't you think that could be a fear for Browns fans? Deshaun might never become who Deshaun was in Houston.
Well, he was touching 30 and running back. They say running back at 30. We are different running backs. And we're different players. Deshaun Watson is 27 years old. 27. I was running around still making guys miss, getting crazy busy, giving crazy work. We need to be patient with Deshaun Watson and not forget who he is. Because your favorite team, right, and their quarterback, he will be never nothing like Deshaun Watson. Remember that.
Why do you bring that up? Why do you bring Dak Prescott into
I didn't say his name.
He's actually playing up to his contract.
I just want you to know, because I know you got the shade, my boy, and I just want you to know that. Many people can't touch Deshaun Watson.
They do both wear number 4.
And he's always been a top 5 type player.
I'll take Dak Prescott's career accomplishments over Deshaun Watson's every single time. That's not the conversation.
That's not the conversation.
Don't make it that.
The conversation here is, hey, honestly, I don't think you're necessarily wrong. Like, I can't say you're wrong yet, Shady. Problem is, let's be patient? No. Why? Why should I? Why should I be patient? 4 games? That's 25% of the season. $230 million? Guaranteed. And this wasn't like a Dak Prescott situation where he had to fight through 2 seasons of tags and injuries to get it. The Browns were just like, yeah, you can have this unprecedented deal. We don't care. We don't care about all the reasons why you're in the news or any of that. You can just have all of this money.
How good he is.
I want results. He sure doesn't look like it. Joy had a great stat, 15 points per game, but Joy. In Houston, when he came back, special teams and defense accounted for 21 points that day. So if you take those points out and just say points that the offense has scored in the month that Deshaun Watson has been back, 10 points a game. 10 points a game. And I'll say it again, Shady, you might be right that he can get back to it, but I don't have to be patient. Not when $230 million guaranteed is the price tag.
And not when you have the weapons that he has, tight end that he has, the running backs that he has, the defensive players that he has, the
good
coach
roster
of the year that he has. You get no excuses. Wow. 0 excuses, 0 patience, because you took the money, which of course anyone would do, but with that money must come results. We hold every other player to that standard. We certainly hold Russell Wilson to that standard. We most certainly hold Dak to that standard. We bring up his contract at least once a week. Every guy that gets paid gets held to that standard. So certainly the guy that gets paid the most, the highest level, the most unprecedented, most guaranteed money ever, you get no excuses.
Wait until Herbert and Lamar have new contracts and see what we're talking about those guys
We're holding Herbert to a standard higher than Deshaun Watson, and Herbert is in his 3rd year, has never even been paid.
But they are playing. He hasn't played football in 2 years.
That was.
That don't matter. You don't think that
I do think it matters. I think that's why no one's talking about it. Because I think we're all, as reasonable football people, saying, yeah, of course he should look like that.
I just want you to say that, because you're not saying that.
That's why no one's upset about it, really.
New receivers, new coach.
To go back to your analogy, though.
But you can't. That doesn't matter, because if you're going to say that about him, if we're going to apply this very reasonable, very correct stance, which is that after 2 years away from the sport, at the quarterback position, not being able to practice, not having the playbook, all those things, it's reasonable that you should not look great. But keep that same energy for everyone else who gets paid significantly less.
It's not the same.
I think next year Deshaun Watson will be the brunt of all the criticism.
I agree with that.
After not playing for 2 years, I don't think anybody's going to be looking at it. But I think next year, there's no escaping it. At the point in which you had all offseason, you've been there for a year and a half at this junction in time, and you really making that real bread, and you got no excuses.
He's only making $1 million this year.
At the point in which all of that adds up.
There's a reason he's only making $1 million this year.
Deshaun, he can escape the excuses right now,
yes.
but he only got about 4 more months.
All seasons with his team, all that stuff matters.
Then the pressure is on. Well, speaking of pressure, the Eagles had a whole lot of it this weekend going into Dallas facing the Cowboys, and they didn't come out with anything besides an L. However, they did not have their starting quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So
They went toe-to-toe. And look, let's be real. We all think the Niners and the Cowboys are probably the 2 toughest outs that the Eagles would have to deal with in the playoffs, right?
It's the Niners.
Okay, even if you agree with that, those are the 2 teams that are probably your stiffest competition. I mean, you can disagree if you want to.
I normally do.
They just beat you. I don't know what you want me to say. They just
without the you know who.
Oh, but we did a whole routine up here about how it doesn't matter that Cooper Rush was the starting quarterback. Cooper Rush.